In this episode of Historically Marked, I take you all around Quincy, Illinois. Stay tuned. Hi, welcome to another episode of Historically Marked. I am Jason, and I am in Quincy, Illinois, in a very important part of the city. Now, this city takes so much pride and a lot of stuff into their history. I mean, there's historical markers everywhere. There's got to be at least 50 here, but there are a few around me on the riverfront. In the background is Highway 24, which is going into Missouri. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of give you a little tour of the riverfront of what I've found, including this marker by Ulysses S. Grant. This one is when he arrived in Quincy, Illinois with his 21st Illinois Infantry around noon on July 11th, 1861. And of course, that was during the Civil War. But the troops were ferried across the Mississippi River into Missouri. And by July 13th, they were in Palmyra, ready to face the enemy. So there you have it. Ulysses S. Grant has set foot here in Quincy. And now we're going to go into another part. And over here is a historical marker, but you can't see it from this side. It is the Navy Reserve. And over here, a little far away, it's one of the Great River Road of Illinois historical markers that are found all around these river towns like Cahokia and Nauvoo and Ellis Grove and many others. So I'll give you a little insight on that. All right, so I'm standing kind of in front of the Adams County Historical Museum, and there are plenty of markers found here, as well as some plenty historic artifacts that have been saved for over a century. So let's take a look. See, these came from the original high school in 1891. Get a load of that. Here, I'll even touch one. How about that? So now I'm in Washington Park, or I should say maybe the town square here in Quincy, and I'm standing in front of the statue of John Wood, who was Quincy's first permanent settler. He was the mayor of Quincy, and he was later the governor of Illinois. Can you dig that? And moving towards the gazebo, here comes another historical marker I'm about to discover. It's called the Mormons in Quincy. And now I am standing on Main Street, but they pronounce it, or I'm sorry, they spell it like the state of Maine. Main Street, M-A-I-N-E, which is kind of strange, but I guess very fitting too. But I am between City Hall and what I believe is the police building, and so I'm pretty much in the heart of the city, and it's also a very important and historic business district. But the structure that is behind me, it was once part of the World Trade Center. This was an antenna that literally stood at the very top. And as we all know, what happened on September 11, 2001, yes, the buildings were destroyed. So you're probably wondering, well, why is this here in Quincy, of all places? Well, I'm not for sure whether there are more of these around the country or in the world. But I will say this, though. The Harris Corporation here in Quincy did supply these towers, and they made them, and thus they were returned here at a certain time about less than 20 years ago. So definitely, it's quite amazing that I'm just not too far in distance from that. So here you go. I will go ahead and give you a closer look. This marker was erected by the State of Illinois Historical Society, and this one was exclusively for Augustine Tolton. All right, so like I said, there's lots of things to do here in Quincy, Illinois. If you're just here for fun, or if you live here, or if you go to school here, or just want to check out some history, this is a perfect place. It's a little underrated, but Quincy is, by any means, known to be a very major city here in Illinois. But as for now, after all this marker hunting, I will go ahead and take a dip in the river. What do you say? I'm just kidding. But another thing to keep in mind, which is kind of strange and something we all don't really think about at times, you know, this riverfront is actually very vulnerable to flooding, including perhaps where I'm standing right now. So happy travels, and thank you for tuning in to Historically Marked. I am Jason.